Look at this photo of Alex Murdaugh. He is a convicted fraudster serving decades in prison for stealing millions of dollars from his own clients. Until recently, he was also a convicted murderer, but the highest court in South Carolina overturned his conviction for the killings of his wife and son due to misconduct by a court clerk. He is now heading into a retrial set for April 2027. But his defense team faces a difficult reality. The prosecution is bringing the exact same evidence that successfully convicted him the first time around. That includes the infamous kennel video, a smartphone recording taken by his son, Paul, moments before the murders. That video captured Murdaugh's voice in the background, which the prosecution used to destroy his alibi and place him at the crime scene. Facing an identical set of facts, another guilty verdict seems likely, unless his lawyers can construct a new narrative to introduce reasonable doubt into the minds of the jury. To build that narrative, the defense is zeroing in on a tiny piece of physical evidence that the original trial largely set aside. Investigators found a microscopic trace of unknown male DNA directly underneath the left fingernails of the victim, Maggie Murdaugh. That single sample is now the foundation of the defense's strategy. They are betting their entire case on the idea that this genetic material belongs to a different killer. During the initial investigation in 2021, that DNA trace didn't help the defense because of the technological limits of standard police testing, known as short tandem repeat, or STR analysis. They pointed out that Maggie had no defensive wounds or scratches to suggest she fought off an attacker. Restricted by the forensic technology, the DNA evidence carried no weight in the courtroom. That left the prosecution's kennel video as the dominant narrative force in the first trial. Now, the defense is demanding a different approach. They want to transfer the original genetic extract to a private lab in Texas to run a more advanced test, single nucleotide polymorphism, or SNP analysis. Instead of scanning 20 locations, SNP analysis captures 500,000 data points, creating a high-resolution map. As those points connect, they form a web. This lets genealogists trace complex family trees and locate relatives, even without a direct police database match. Law enforcement used this exact methodology to identify Brian Koberger as the prime suspect in the 2022 Moscow, Idaho murders after traditional database searches failed. By requesting this analysis, the defense is attempting to put a name and a face to the unknown genetic profile found on the victim. Demanding this advanced testing is a high-stakes gamble for the defense team. If the lab tracks down the source of the DNA, and it turns out to belong to a delivery driver or a store clerk with a documented alibi, the alternate killer theory loses its credibility. On the other hand, if that DNA links to an unexplained suspect with no reason to be at the hunting estate, it would directly challenge the prosecution's circumstantial timeline. This test is a binary trigger. It will either provide the evidence needed to support Murdaugh's claims of innocence, or remove the defense's strongest opportunity to create reasonable doubt. The 2027 retrial will be a test of how old evidence holds up against new science, all overseen by a strict new judge. This courtroom will serve as a public trial for how advanced investigative genealogy can reevaluate established legal cases. Regardless of the jury's decision, Alex Murdaugh will likely spend the rest of his life in prison for his separate state and federal financial convictions. But the final resolution of the Murdaugh murder case no longer rests on a smartphone video. It relies on a microscopic genetic code waiting to be deciphered in a lab.